living beneath your feet at this very moment. So big, so old. Does the Earth's crust itself tremble when they move? They're not just monsters. These are not just legends. These are primitive forces that they were never meant to be seen. There are sounds recorded in the oceans that have never been explained. There are shadows captured by sensors that no known animal can generate. There are regions of the sea so deep that the light never touched. And maybe you should never touch it. Some of these entities are so colossal that if they emerged completely, the entire planet would feel it. Ancient civilizations spoke of them in whispers. Sailors only saw them in fragments. And today, technology is beginning to heed what myths have always warned against. Take a deep breath, because what you are about to learn, they are not just creatures. They are final lords of the depths. And after this video, you'll never look at the ocean the same way again. If you're already curious about this topic, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for even more surprising facts. Imagine being on the deck of an old ship. The water around you is as black as pitch. Suddenly, you feel the entire ocean tremble. It's not a wave. It's not a storm. It's something beneath you, something so immense that you can barely comprehend its scale. For centuries, sailors returned to land with stories that no one believed. Snakes the size of islands, sounds from the abyss that echoed across entire continents, creatures that not only inhabited the ocean, but were the ocean itself taking shape. Today, with all our technology, we have only explored 5% of the oceans. So the question remains, what's in the other 95? The oceans cover more than 70% of the planet. They are deeper than Mount Everest is high. Down there, the pressure would crush a submarine like an empty can. The darkness is absolute. And the silence is deafening. But it wasn't always silent. In 1999, NOAA sensors picked up something, a sound, so loud that it traveled thousands of kilometers. So strange that to this day, no one can fully explain it. We are about to delve into the stories of the 5 largest entities ever reported in the deep sea. Some are ancient myths. Others have been captured by modern equipment. They all share one thing: they are too big to ignore. Get ready, because after this video, you'll never look at the ocean the same way again. Deep within the Cuban caves, a legend exists that spans generations. Indigenous peoples speak of Maja, a colossal serpent with golden scales that gleam like molten gold, even in total darkness. 675 meters long. Think about that for a second. 6 football fields, one behind the other, and this creature supposedly glides through the submerged caves as if it were a silk thread. The accounts describe her eyes as burning embers. When she moves, they say the waters change direction. Storms arise from nowhere, and whoever dares disturb her rest is never seen again. For the ancients, Maya was not just an animal. It was a guardian, protector of treasures hidden in the depths, far from human eyes. Today, local residents still report sounds coming from the caves, deep noises, vibrations rising through the rock, as if something ancient still watched silently, waiting for someone to get too close. Would you have the courage to dive into those waters, knowing that you might not be alone? March 1999. NOAA's underwater sensors are functioning normally, picking up the usual sounds of the ocean: whales, currents, the occasional crackling of ice. And then something different. A deep, resonant sound, so intense that sensors recorded its propagation across almost the entire southern hemisphere. It lasted only a few minutes, but its frequency was unlike anything ever catalogued before. They named her Julia. Scientists rushed to analyze it. If that sound had been produced by a living being, the animal would have to be over 800 meters long, larger than any blue whale. larger than any creature known to science. The official explanation: an iceberg breaking apart. But here's a detail that few people know. The researchers involved themselves admitted, in internal documents, that the frequency was strangely organic, almost alive, as if something were breathing down there. And there's more. Original documents about Julia were removed from public archives. Detailed reports simply disappeared. Why? If it was just ice, why hide the data? To this day, no one knows for sure what produced that sound. And the most unsettling thing, Julia was only captured once, which means that if you were a creature, she might still be there, silent, waiting. If there is one creature that represents the absolute fear of the ocean, it is the Kraken. Between the 11th and 13th centuries, Scandinavian sailors returned to their ports with blood-curdling tales. They spoke of something emerging from the depths like a living island, tentacles the size of masts, suckers large enough to swallow a man whole. Descriptions vary: 60 meters in the most conservative accounts, 400 meters in the ancient sagas. But in the most archaic versions, those told only in whispers around campfires, the Kraken could exceed a kilometer in length, a breathing island. When it surfaced, it created gigantic whirlpools capable of capsizing ships as if they were wooden toys. Its tentacles enveloped the hulls, crushed the planks, and dragged entire crews into the abyss. And when it dived back down, it took everything it touched with it. Modern science attempts to rationalize this. Giant squid exist. They can reach 13 meters in length and live at extreme depths. Perhaps sailors saw one and in their panic exaggerated its size. Perhaps. But here's what modern sailors assure us. The real Kraken never fully surfaced. The old stories always speak of tentacles, of parts of the creature, never of the whole body. Which means that if the Kraken really exists, we've never seen its true size. And perhaps that's for the best. Imagine sailing for days across icy seas. You're exhausted, your crew is starving, and then on the horizon an island appears. Small, flat, perfect for docking and resting. You anchor, you go ashore, you set up camp, you light a fire to warm yourselves. Finally, after days at sea, you can breathe, and then the island moves. This is Lingbecker, a creature so colossal that sailors mistook it for dry land. Legendary estimates speak of a length of 5 kilometers. 5,000 meters of living creature floating just below the surface, waiting. When she felt the heat of the fire on her back or the weight of the men walking on her, Lingbecker would dive, abruptly, without warning, taking ships, crews and any hope of survival to the bottom of the ocean. Icelandic legends say that Lingbecker was controlled by Hafgufa, the giant lord of the depths, that the creature had no will of its own, only obeying commands from something even greater, even older. Modern theorists suggest that the legend may have originated from sightings of enormous whales seen in the distance. Sperm whales or fin whales in rough waters could create the illusion of a landmass. But for the Vikings, this wasn't science, it was reality. The ocean itself taking on a solid form to destroy those who dared to dominate it. And you? Would you have enough confidence to set foot on an unknown island in the middle of nowhere, knowing that it might not be a real island? And now we come to the greatest of them all. Not just the greatest creature of legend, but the greatest entity ever conceived by the human mind. Jörmungandr, a serpent of Midgard. In Norse mythology, she is the daughter of Loki, the god of mischief, and the giantess Angrboda. When she was born, Odin cast her into the ocean that surrounds the world, believing that she would not cause trouble there. But Jörmungandr grew. It grew so large that it ended up encircling the entire Earth. Thousands of kilometers of living serpent gliding through ocean currents, biting its own tail in an eternal cycle. Her every movement caused tidal waves. Every breath altered the currents. When she writhed, continents trembled. Earthquakes erupted. Devastating storms swept away entire islands, and she waits. Because according to legend, at Ragnarok, the end of times, Jörmungandr will emerge from the depths. She will face Thor, the god of thunder, in a final battle. Both will die. And then the world as we know it will be reborn. Jörmungandr is not just a monster, it is a cosmic force. It represents the uncontrollable power of the waters, the ultimate boundary between what we can understand and what we will never comprehend. Think about it. If such a creature truly existed, we wouldn't even know it. It would be too large to be fully seen, too deep to be reached, and too ancient to be remembered by any human record. Now stop for a second and think with me. Why do these stories exist? Why did completely separate cultures, which never had contact with each other, develop legends about colossal creatures living in the oceans? The Vikings had Kraken and Jörmungandr. The Cubans had Majak. Every coastal civilization has its own version of something big, ancient, and terrifying living in the depths. Coincidence? Collective imagination? Or did our ancestors see something we still can't explain? Science says the deep ocean is one of the least explored places on the planet, less known than the surface of Mars. Down there, creatures exist that defy all logic. Eyeless fish, immortal jellyfish, things that shouldn't exist but do. So I ask you, if 95% of the oceans are still a mystery, who guarantees that these legends are just legends? What if, at this very moment, something colossal is sliding through the ocean trenches? What if military sensors, somewhere in the world, are picking up sounds that can't be explained? What if the ocean isn't silent, but we simply don't know how to listen? Think about this the next time you look at the sea. That calm surface hides miles of darkness. And down there, things that science hasn't yet discovered may be watching back. If you followed along this far, leave a comment saying, "I dived all the way in." And now I want to know, if you could choose one of these creatures to confirm that it really exists, which one would it be? The guardian Maya, the mysterious Julia, the eternal terror of the Kraken, the living island Lingbecker, or the world serpent Jörmungandr? Write it below. And if you want me to bring more episodes about extinct animals, genetic experiments in the oceans, real accounts from divers, or signals captured on the seabed, comment, "I want." Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Share this video with someone who would never dive alone at night. Thank you for diving all the way in. And remember, the ocean is not silent. It just waits to be heard.